Way back in prehistoric times, I reviewed this XF10-24 with my Fujifilm X Pro 1 and absolutely loved it. But with the advancements in video quality coming out of the latest Fujifilm bodies, I thought it would be cool to just take a rather random look at this lens and see just how good it is now for quick and easy travel style, vlog style videos. What follows is straight out of my Fujifilm X-T20, the camera body I'm most likely to use while traveling around. It's the XF10-24, generally wide open, as raw as possible. It is what it is. I suppose, you know, we don't need more of an introduction, do we?
We better just get on with it then, hadn't we? If you don't have a microphone, this is what it could sound like, and this is in a relatively controlled environment. I mean, inside a car, windows are up, not particularly noisy outside, but you know, I don't know what I'm doing either. Now here's the deal, I do have the adapter cable for this, but today I didn't bring it out for some reason. I couldn't put my hands on it, so I'm stuck with the audio, you know, that the camera's producing, which frankly might just be a bit of a wasted trip. But look how dull it is anyway. I mean, this is not ideal. However, frankly, when I travel, I'm not interested in this kind of weather, so let's move on. Yeah, really, we need a brighter day than this. One question mark that people have about this lens, of course, is the lack of weather resistance. Now, that could be an issue for some of you travelers out there, especially landscape photographers. Really find that a bit awkward. I mean, you can go old school, put a bag over it, special seal, whatever, but it would have been nice, and frankly, yeah, you'd expect it, especially a lens this size. But anyway, you know, other things are out there, or maybe not. If you're trapped for space, 10mm on a crop, of course, is absolutely fantastic for just squeezing that extra bit out of the scene.
Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears.
Fun fact, got up here because I really like the views. I'll talk about that in another video, another clip, whatever. And battery ran out, didn't bring a spare, but I've always got a USB pack with me, so I'm now plugged into the USB. And as I didn't bring a particularly long cable, I'm holding it under the camera. So, you know, as a travel solution, you're never that far away from power. Another real cool thing about the latest Fujifilm bodies, not particularly lens related, but you know, we're seeing how well we can use this traveling while trying to keep the size and weight down. As you've probably guessed, I've been using this thing at arm's length, mainly at 10mm, because, you know, we want to get all of this lovely grey Birmingham in the background. But I think going forward, I'll probably use the Gorilla Pod, although that obviously adds a little bit extra to what you'd be carrying. And yeah, I think it'd just be better, a bit more comfortable, even though it's extra weight, etc. I mean, you know, it's good enough for Casey Neistat. Yeah, so I'm not Casey Neistat, or even slightly in that kind of world, but you know what I mean. We want to see if this stuff is any good, and I know I'm pretty shaky, but the OIS should be helping me out, I hope. In dodgier lighting, well, not going to be a big deal for me traveling, although when I use it in lower light, it'll probably just be a fun little shot or something, or very stabilized. So by very stabilized, I mean not just handheld with OIS, not for me anyway. But there you go, that's what it looks like in some very unfavorable lighting. And if that wasn't low light enough for you, now we're at wide open, only f4, and that's where you probably want an f2.8 for low light stuff. But anyway, whole different topic. You mean that was on a low light test? Hello, hello. Well, that went slightly wrong. Low light test, any good now? I'm not going to do this on holiday, man.
This probably very random test has reminded me of a few reasons why I might not be inclined to take this 10-24 with the T20 on my next travels. I find this thing is a little bit chunkier than I would prefer. Now, having traveled around quite a lot for 2 to 3 months at a time, for example, space is at a premium. And if I took this lens, I'd like to take a longer lens too. But then if I think about it, I could probably justify the space by not taking my GoPro and a stabilizer, and I think that's fine for some of the trips that I've got planned. And then putting a 50mm f2 in the bag, because that's nice, small, compact, and that'll get me a little bit of a longer focal length for when I want to do portraits of friends and stuff like that. The sound for me in what you've just watched, yeah, it's not ideal, so I think I will be taking the adapter and my external mic so I can get the sound just as one. But it wasn't drastically bad. You know, in a fix, you could use it straight out of the camera, especially as for the most part, it's just for a bit of fun, traveling around, holiday stuff, vlog style. You know, I'm not a vlogger, but it's always nice to have a screen that flips around. The Canon 80D that I'm using right now, one of the big deals for me is that fully articulated screen, and of course the 3.5mm jack. But I just love my Fuji gear too much. The image quality, real nice. I barely touched the footage and the potential's there, and that was at 1080p. I could step up to 4K, and the 4K in the T20 is not cropped, and I could really explore that a lot more. I shot my Croatia stuff at 1080p, and a lot of people saying, what about 4K? What about 4K? Well, yeah, valid point. I'll get into 4K very soon, and I've been messing about with it a little bit, but just for quick and easy stuff, I'm happy with the 1080. I mean, I'm not a video pro anyway, so no big deal for me. Another beauty for me is that face detection. A lot of YouTubers use the Sony gear, amazing cameras, great video quality, but I find that some of these big names that are out a lot, you know, some of these Chinese dudes, the face detection is terrible, so their video is often focused in the background when it's them talking to the camera, and that's not cool. But those guys use the cameras for vlogging way more than me, so they know what they're dealing with, and I guess the pros outweigh the cons when it comes to them using the Sony gear. But this Fuji stuff is really stepping up. I mean, I've heard about people that are real happy to use it for B-roll stuff and even A-cam stuff. Fujifilm do have a range of cine lenses if you're into that kind of stuff, so there's a whole world out there. But remember, this is just a quick conversation about travel vlogging style. You're all thinking the 8-16 2.8 LM weather resistant, that could be the one. Looking at the Fuji roadmap, that's planned for this year, 2018. Now, I don't think it's going to be particularly small either. I mean, could well end up being as big or fatter than the 10-24, maybe with a bulbous front, so your filter fans are going to be annoyed. And it won't have, as far as I can tell, OIS. That doesn't appear on the Fuji roadmap. For me, when it comes to shooting ultra wide video, you know, your full frame equivalent of 15mm to 36mm, the 10-24 just does it for me. For ultra wide photography, let's cross that bridge when the 8-16 2.8 comes out, because a 2.8 trumps an f4, you know, when it comes to pure photography. Give or take size and price, I'm expecting big things, so subscribe and let's hope we can get our hands on that thing as it comes out. But for now, this 10-24 on the T20, it's given me a little bit to think about when it comes to traveling. I do absolutely love ultra wide, and it just brings scenes alive. And I can even do random vlog style stuff without looking like a complete idiot.